Hi, I'm Selina.
And I'm Bel, and together
We are the Fashion Suite podcast.
Let's discover how to make fashion fun, easy, and sustainable.
So you can look great and even feel better about your style choices. Hi, my fashion lovers. Your favorite fashion besties, Bel and Selina, are back again. And I can't wait for today's episode because we will talk about one of my most favorite topics, which are materials. And Belle will give you all the information you need to know about capsule wardrobe. She will tell you what it is, what you should look for, what you need to know. And honestly, stay tuned because this episode is going to be so exciting.
Hello, my dear fashionistas. Hi, Selina. Well, I was very much looking forward to this episode, to be honest. And all I want to say to our listeners now is that if you have ever felt overwhelmed by the huge amount of clothing in your wardrobe and still think I have nothing to wear, then this episode...
Just like me.
Exactly. This episode is for you and for all of us.
Yes.
And as Selina said, we will break down the famous concept of capsule wardrobe, no? Because maybe we have heard about it on social media. When you scroll down, you may have seen capsule wardrobe outfits, but what does it really mean and how it can help? Now, I want to give a more down-to-earth approach to this because when I work with my clients, I think this should have a more personal approach, not something standard that some people sell it or communicate it as something standard. So, but let's go one step at a time. Let's break it down a little bit more.
Yes, I'm really excited because even my wardrobe is full of clothing and I don't really know what to wear many times. So I'm also very excited about what you will tell us.
Yeah. So first things first, a capsule wardrobe basically is a curated collection of essential clothing items that are versatile, timeless, and can be mix and match effortlessly, no? To create multiple outfits. The idea behind it is to have fewer but high quality pieces that you love, that work well together, work well with your lifestyle, rather than a closet full of items you don't know how to wear. But what do I mean with your lifestyle? Of course, a uni student will not have the same wardrobe as a person that works full-time, that has to go to corporate events or that has to travel for work, than a person that works part-time and also have children, or a person that is a full-time mother. You know what I mean?
Yes, they're all different.
This is what I mean with we all have different wardrobes. And a capsule wardrobe basically consists from 25 to 40 pieces, no? The theory says that includes tops, bottom, dresses, outerwear, shoes. And these items are chosen on a cohesive color palette, focused on classic silhouettes, allowing for easy pairing and variety of looks. And the goal is to simplify, no? Getting dressed every day, reduce fashion decision fatigue, and ensure that every piece you own is meaningful and has a purpose. No, when you have a capsule wardrobe, you embrace a more intentional approach to fashion, prioritizing quality over quantity, and creating a personal style that feels authentic and easy to maintain. I find this very helpful because you can have a base. No, the approach that I want to give with my clients, because I sell capsule wardrobe guides for spring, summer, autumn, winter, office looks as well. And with a selection of 30 pieces, I have created 100 looks. Wow. I like to share this because you can really look different with the way of combining clothing. And it's good to have your basics, your foundation, and on top of that, you start adding more personal style pieces. What do I mean with this? Maybe you love a designer. It can be a luxury designer, premium designer, independent designer that creates pieces with different shapes or colors. And you can add this to your capsule wardrobe because it will represent you. You will like it. A capsule wardrobe, I don't want to give this approach of you will look all the same. You will look elegant, classic, because this will not work for all of us. But the concept of having good basics, good quality basics, that now we will talk about what quality means, no, with Selina and materials, but is to understand, to have some basics that will combine with the rest of your pieces. It happens with my clients when I make them, I also work with them to have their own personal capsule wardrobe, no? I make them share with me the pieces that they have, do picture of each piece. And many of them say, Belen, I didn't know I had this amount of tops, for example. Like, I am very embarrassed. I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, no, no. It's good to analyze first your wardrobe to understand what you really have, because we always ended up buying the same kind of clothing, the same kind of tops, because they're cheap and they have this detail of difference. But then you don't have a good pair of jeans, or you don't have a good pair of black trousers that will work well for a casual outfit or a corporate event that you have, because you will style it different. So it's good to understand what we have, what we need, and then it's going to be super easy for us to get dressed, because you will have everything, and based on your mood of the day, you will feel amazing about what you are wearing. No, I think it's crucial to understand what a capsule wardrobe is and embrace a few key basics that can be mix and match with your personal style, whether that incorporated designer pieces, as I said, or experimenting with colors. Then it's our own evolution with our style, that I like to say. I don't know if it makes sense, Alina, everything that I said, because sometimes I get too passionate
No, I
about
love
this.
the idea. Yes. No, it's like right and true, because even myself, I have to admit, of course, I have several pair of jeans or trousers or tops, and I feel like, I have nothing to wear. But as you said, like if you have nice things, you can combine them like multiply. And also, I think it depends on the colors you have. You have to have like some 2 or 3 color schemes, so you can always combine them. So this is something I have noticed, like with myself. Okay, I just mostly go with black and white or beige, because then I can add all the colors with jacket or with accessories or shoes or bags, which I really love. So, but of
Yeah.
course, I also have really colorful, bright dresses, trousers, everything. But for combining things, it's good to have like some basic natural colors at some point. But the colors also have to match you, because, for example, green doesn't fit me, but I have customers, they love green, and honestly, they look amazing in it. So,
Yeah.
as you said before, it's always good.
Yes, and I do a series reels on Instagram that says the power of styling, because styling, what does it mean? Accessories. If you change accessories on an outfit, will look different. Your
Yes.
hairstyle, makeup. If
Yeah.
you change these few details, or the shoes, instead of sneakers, you wear boots or whatever, if you do small changes, you will look completely different. Sometimes we are also stick on this idea of don't repeat an outfit. At least in Argentina, it's a lot like this. Like we always want to wear new things. And I am very attached to my wardrobe, to my pieces. For me, they are very special. I really appreciate what I wear. And this is the sentiment I want to share. No, to really value what you have good quality clothing, because they will last you
Yes.
longer. I have
Yes.
clothing from my mother, my grandmother, vintage pieces, very unique, that I found that I love to combine with a basic outfit, and it changes everything. Once, I was in Miami last year. I went with a friend, and we thought our luggage went missing. But of course, my traumatic mind was like, oh my God, I will lose everything I have inside. And my friend was like, I don't care. I'm in Miami. I can buy everything again. And it made me think, can I buy everything again? Well, first, no, because I have very special items. I have very unique items that means a lot to me, and I cannot buy them again. But at the same time, I don't have this cold thought of, I don't care, I can buy everything again. Because for me, it doesn't work like that. I don't know if.
I get you. It's like, it depends. If you just buy things for buying things, and if like a wardrobe looks like that, because then you can change everything, like exchange. But if you're like really attached to something, or if you buy or invest in higher quality pieces like a coat or a bag or a pullover, then you're also more attached to it, because you're like, no, I saved up for it. I really we're looking for this nice brand, for this nice material, so I can really wear it for a long time. Then you're definitely different attached to it, and you can't exchange it that easily, because you like really dig into it, and it's like it means something to you, because you want to have this high quality nice things.
Yes, I'm mentioning high quality. Let's start talking about materials, please, because we have been talking about this concept, also choosing quality over
Yeah.
quantity. But let's break down materials, because once I started to understand materials and read labels, it was a life-changing for me. And I think this is crucial to have this information, because we can have our clothes to last longer, that are good for our skin, good for our health,
Yeah.
and the environment.
Hmm.
Not only the environment, also good for ourselves. So please, Selina, you're an expert on this. Please, I
Yes.
want to know everything.
So, well, I've seen like this really huge lack of knowledge about materials. I mean, as you know, for me, it's easy because I attended fashion school. I even had to do my A level in materials. This was like part of the A level. And, working in fashion for so long, for me, that's like easy. But I've seen not everybody has the same knowledge. So that's what I want to tell you.
No,
So,
because
first of all,
there's
yeah,
no education about this. No
not at
one,
all.
no
Nothing.
one talks about
No.
materials.
Yes, I know. This is a huge gap.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, the first thing you have to understand, we have two sections of materials. So ones are like the natural fibers, and the other ones are the synthetic fibers. And the natural fibers, they come from plants or animals. They are biodegradable and they have been used for centuries. And since the last centuries, we also have the synthetic fibers. Those synthetic fibers are produced from petrochemical sources like oil, which is mostly oil, and they need like 500 years or even more to degrade.
It's crazy.
It's
It's insane.
honestly, it's insane. So, but of course, like all the synthetic fibers, they're easy to produce because machines are producing it. You don't need like landmarks to harvest all the plants and everything. So you just put it in like in a machine and they will produce fibers.
And it's cheaper,
But
I
of
think,
course,
no?
of course, think about like cotton. Yeah.
Mm.
As many people might know, it's, there's a cotton plant. So it's like, looks a bit like a tree with some
Yeah.
white flowers on top of it. Let's say it like this. Yeah. Like some small cotton candies on top of this plant. So,
Mm.
of course, you need space. Then you have to grow the plant. Then you need somebody who's taking out all, let's say this cotton candy, cotton,
Mm-hmm.
which is like some white puffs. You take them out. Then
Mm.
you have to wash it. Then you have to like clean it. These are like a lot of work steps you need to do before you even have like the material, like the fiber, you can produce something out of it.
And there's also, I have read that it's better to choose items made of organic cotton than
Mm-hmm.
only organic. Like, we go one step further, no?
No, it's like think about like if you go to the supermarket, you have organic food. Think about the plants. They're like with pesticides. Like I don't know how many chemicals are on plants or fruits nowadays because then
Mm.
it's easier for the farmers because otherwise they have to
To
do way
grow.
more work, yes, to grow it easily because even it's still a plant. There can be like I don't know, an animal coming and eating the plant, because it's still nature. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
if you like harvest like some, I don't know, tomatoes or if you do like cotton. Nevertheless, there just has to be some animal or one bacteria which the plant isn't growing anymore. So that's why you're using chemicals, which of course isn't as good for your skin as like organic
Organic.
cotton. Yes, because then they're using less. But of course, this means more work has to be done, which leads, of course, it's more expensive because we have a lot of work steps included here without even having like a dress or just like the material you can cut out and make dress, a blouse, whatever out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like why it's cheaper to use synthetic fibers. And that's also why companies are choosing that now because they really can make sure it's cheaper. You always have the same material. It's machine produced, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still just made out of oil. But I tell you more about the synthetic fibers, I also want to say like what are natural fibers because now we have talked about cotton. So cotton we might really know it's really nice, it's breathable, it's cooling, it's a really nice and soft materials, but of course it can be used differently. You might use it for clothing, for home textiles, but even for medical textiles, because cotton you can wash up to 60 or 90 degrees. So it's also really a nice material if you want to have more hygienic materials, especially like in home textiles or medical textiles. And then we also have linen, which I love for summer. It's also plant based.
I love it.
Yes. Yeah, me too. It's like
E-
one of the nicest materials in summer.
Every summer I try to get one or two more lining pieces because it's so freshy, it's so nice.
Yes. So there's also a plant and it's from flax, but it's like, you have this plant and then you make, let's imagine you cut like a cable in half. You might
Mm-hmm.
have some strings in it. Yes. And
Ah,
those strings you're taking out, and this is how you make linen.
that is
So it's
linen.
not that is linen. So you really like strap it out, from yes, and this is how it is produced. So it's still plant based, but it's different. And this
Wow.
also needs a lot of work process to produce it because you need to harvest it, you redden it, and then the fibers need to get separated, and then you have to spun into yarn. This is how you do it because then you have all the small, yeah, like yarn, all the
Yeah.
small pieces, and then you have to twist it to make a yarn out of it.
Wow. I
Yes.
didn't know about that.
Now, honestly, if I just for myself, because we also talk about silk, and I don't know if you know it, but silk comes from the silkworm. So, you have the cocoon, like the worm is getting into a
Hmm.
butterfly for a time of a
Yes,
period. It is in the cocoon. There's a cocoon, and this cocoon is silk. So you separate the cocoon, and this is then a yarn, and this is how you make silk. I know it's crazy, and sometimes I think about
what?
what did people think back in the days to do something like this?
We have no idea about anything,
No,
Selena, to be honest.
I know. It's like,
It's so easy
yes,
for
it's so,
us. We go to a
yeah,
shop, buy, we like the material, and that's it. But there's a whole industry behind
of
this.
course. And especially like silk and linen, those are like fat materials are used for more than 100 years, like 300 years, 500 years. There's even like some silk resources from China. I think they're
That's
older than
amazing.
2000 years.
That's
You
amazing.
even have to think about back in the days. This is what they have done. There was like so much work process,
Mm,
but
mm.
because they also were putting in the work. And this is so insane. So even for myself, I was like, how do people get there that they're using a silkworm? How it's just funny sometimes.
No, but I
But yeah.
think as time
Hmm?
goes by and we get this information, I think we start valuing more these materials and the pieces that we have made of these materials. Like, okay, this is a lot of value besides what I paid for this, no?
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of work behind this. I really like to embrace the history of. I even buy from brands that I appreciate their history because of the craftsmanship, and well, I am very passionate about that. But the, yes, sorry, but
Okay.
I think it's very important to value our clothing, and it's
Yes.
also good to say, okay, this doesn't represent me anymore, and give it another chance, donating it or giving to a friend or selling it and get new things. I think that is also good, but it's good to know what we have, to have this mindfulness, no? It's
Mm.
mindfulness to know, to have conscious, and to feel represented with what we're wearing.
Yes, definitely. And I think this is where materials comes in because also if you want to compare it, so let's say you have, I don't know, a blouse made out of cotton or a blouse made out of a synthetic fiber, it would also look differently.
Yes.
It's like completely, or as we know, or most people know, linen is always has like a strong texture. It's not as thin, it's not as elegant, it's more casual summer clothing, more rustical, it's like more nature.
Yeah.
But this is the material, this is how the look. And this look you can't really create from a synthetic fiber. Of course, they're trying it nowadays, but for me, there's nothing coming which looks like linen, for example. But this is also what it makes nice, like having a nice pair of linen trousers or like linen dress. This is something as also like in your capsule wardrobe. I think for summer, for example, having a nice linen trousers, linen dress, this just adds to your wardrobe
Yeah.
and will always be nicer to your skin and everything. So, but still, like, let's continue with educating you more about materials.
I want to
So
know
we have
more,
talked,
please.
yes,
I'm learning
because
a
we also,
lot.
yes. So we have talked about linen and silk. So silk is produced from the silkworm cocoons, and then you have to put it into hot water and unwind the long silk threads. So this is just basically what the cocoon is.
Okay.
And it's really like a nice material in comparison to linen, which is more like rustic and like very, it's not a thin material. Meanwhile, silk is like very smooth, lightweighted. It's
Very sexy.
isolating, it's sexy, it's elegant, it's a really fine material. You could use it even like for some nice silk dresses, blouses, but also for sleeping. It's really nice because it's the best you can give to your skin because it's still breathable, isolating. It's really nice. And it's mostly used for luxury clothing like dresses, blouses, but
Hmm.
also for ties and scarves.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something I really appreciate. And of course, silk, like the opposite, I will also say is like wool. And we all know wool because winter is coming. We are going into the season of winter. Um, as we all know, or probably know, it's animal based. So it's mostly sheep's or like goats. So sheep, we have all the wool, like merino wolle, like merino wool, and therefore you shave the animals. Like you shave the sheep's and then you get the wool. Then you, of course, you have to wash it and clean it and everything. And then you have put it into like some places next to each other, and then you put it into a spin. And this is how you do like the yarn for wool. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a really nice materials for sweaters, scarves, blankets.
I have read that merino wool is kind of the best, no?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's a really nice material because with those fibers, you have to think as smoother the hair is and the longer
Mm.
the hair is, the smoother the wool is going to get. Because
Ah,
even if we talk about like cashmere has several qualities.
I love
Like,
cashmere.
yes, it's made out of goats. But here,
Mm.
like with wool, the quality is different in how long the hair is. So if like the goat or the sheep has longer hair, then it's going to be a smoother wool because when you twist it, like if you yarn it to a yarn, yes, you have to think you put all the wool next to each other, like doing some small puffs next to each other, and then you spin it to make it a yarn. So if the hair is longer, not many of this small hairs coming out because they're longer, it makes it smoother, it's more cozier. But this is also when wool or cashmere is going to be more expensive because you can't take every hair and it needs a special length, a special quality.
Mm.
So this is also the difference between
Yeah,
quality between wool and cashmere, because why
amazing.
sometimes, yes, a wool pullover maybe underneath 50 euros and maybe why is a pullover over 200 euros. This is like the quality difference in it.
Mhm.
And what many people don't know, wool is also temperature regulating. So even like for summer, wool is nice because it's
Ah,
also cooling. Yes, I know many
what?
people think of wool. Yes, yes. This is like so. I mean, of course, if you would have children, you might have known that. So you always put children in there because it's also temperature regulating, even in summer. So sometimes they have like some shearling skins, like some lamb skins, and the
Mm.
trolleys, just because it's like really temperature regulating. Because
Ah,
it's still nature. We're talking about all those natural fibers that come from nature. And of course, we all know nature is nature and it always comes back to nature. And there's some reason behind it.
wow.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. I didn't know about
Yeah.
that.
Yes. Of course, if it's just like not just wool and nowadays like pullovers they tend to at least have some synthetic fibers in it because then it will stick to the shape because wool, like if you have a sweater and it will always get into a different shape because if you wash it because it's still wool, so nowadays people like companies love to put some synthetic fibers in it so at least you have longer the shape as you have bought it.
What
So
is the minimum percentage of natural material? Because sometimes we find a sweater, for example, of wool and polyester. Which
yeah.
is the at least the better option when we find this combination of materials?
as a customer, let's say like this, because I've experienced that many people, if they buy a pullover, they want to have the pullover as it looks like for the next, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years.
Hmm.
But with a wool pullover, and like for myself, I love to have as much as possible natural fibers because they're better to your skin, they're breathable. They have so many advantages in
Mhm.
comparison to synthetic fibers. Because I will tell you now some synthetic fibers. And what is shocking, all the synthetic fibers are made out of oil. So it's you combining wool, which is super nice to your skin, and then you're adding plastic to your skin.
So it's better to
It's
stick into 100% natural
yes.
fiber.
But then you have to be aware that this pullover will change its shape because it might
Mhm.
get longer or wider, or it will change his look because
Mm.
this is the natural fiber, because wool doesn't always stick to the same
Shape,
shape.
yeah.
Of course, it
Form.
will be similar, but yes, but it's not the same. But if you want to have exactly the same shape and form, then use synthetic fiber. And these are like companies sometimes using 80% synthetic fiber and just 20% wool. So at least they have a touch of wool. This is, of course, when it's going to be the cheapest.
Yeah, this is key because sometimes I have seen
Yeah.
in very famous fashion brands that say
Yeah.
wool pullover, and
Yeah.
you read the materials. You can even read it in the website. Materials composition 80% polyester, 20% wool, or sometimes it says wool blend, wool blend.
Mm,
And you read it's only 20% wool or
yeah.
cotton, or, and I was like, no, this is kind of greenwashing. Although they have the
It
information
is.
there, you have to really read
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
label, the material composition, because
Yeah, I
it's
know.
a lie. It's horrible.
I know. I know. And black people just read wool. And, oh, okay, there's wool in it. Because they're trusting on it. And they haven't noticed it before.
And
So I know.
we have to remember something that we have mentioned in other episodes. When you have synthetic fibers materials, while you are
Oh,
washing it in the washing machine, you are liberating microplastics to the ocean. So
yes.
it's like it's a whole vicious circle, I think, that will compromise our health, the oceans, everything.
Yes. I said, even like when I wrote down what I want to tell you about all the materials, because of course there's so much more behind it. And also, if you want to know more, you can always reach out to me. But I want to give you like the basics, just that you know what it is. And writing down polyester, polyamide, nylon, acrylic, elastan, spandex, lycra, these are all made out of oil, and just 100%. So there is nothing you can even say good about it, because we all know you don't wash yourself in oil. You don't want to wear oil on your skin. But nowadays, so many things are used. Like, for example, polyester. We mostly know it from sportswear, and there's barely any other sportswear anymore. So it's all made out of polyester.
Hmm.
You have everyday clothing because, as we also talked about it before, you have like all the companies producing dresses, blouses, trousers, underwear, all the bikinis, like all the swimming clothing, everything. It's just these are all out of made up of polyester nowadays. And even some home textiles for like your bed sheets and everything, of course, isn't good, because like if you have it as a bed sheet, it's not absorbing because you might sweat in the night, but it's something we all do, something normal. But
Hmm.
it can't absorb it. It's not cooling. It's not breathable. So this is really not a nice material to have. But of course, therefore you need to know the difference, because if you have no idea and you go to the store and you're like, oh, I don't want to spend as much money, which is also acceptable and okay, but then also think about what this costs to your body, because this is like, for especially in summer, I've noticed it with many people. They bought some polyester clothing, some summer dresses, and then they started like all the time sweating because it's not breathable. It's like, then it's like, oh, summer is so hot, I'm always sweating. And then I'm like, okay, but what do you wear in summer? Do you take care that you have like some nice materials on body or not?
Yeah.
So, yes. And
I think
yeah,
investing in good underwear, cotton underwear, is key because
yes.
it's really life-changing and we need our skin to breathe. It's as basic
Yeah.
as that. Besides the environment, the pollution, everything, we need to start prioritizing ourselves because it's health.
Yeah.
And as soon as we get this information, let's go one step at a time. Like, okay, where is my priority now? What do I, and you will get into it.
Yes.
It's good to have first information and start being mindful about it, conscious about it. And yeah.
Yes. No, especially like as you said, underwear, because we talked before with cotton, you can wash it up to 60 or 90 degrees. So of course it's more hygienic, especially with underwear. So this is like why it also is it's better, or like if you have it with like your blankets, like your home textiles, because as I said, like at night for bed sheets, you can just wash them and it's like super hygienic and your skin will thank you. Honestly, it's just like there's so many like even some skin health is related to your materials you're using while you sleep, for example. So this is a huge thing, and I think we could even talk to a skin doctor about it because they have a whole point on that as well.
Yes.
But it's something, yeah. So, but just have it in mind what it means to your body. And then we also have like polyamide, which is also very often used for all the same things we talked about. Then we have nylons. Mostly we know it from tights, or but it's also used for it's tear resistant, but it's also used for active wear. We have mind, some walking rain jackets, or we have it for skiing jackets. There is often used acrylic. And of course, like with elastan, spandex, and lycra, they're also used for sportswear, swimwear, underwear, because they're even more elastic than polyester. But still, all what we talk about, all the materials are so similar. So of course, I can tell you like differences. Because like acrylic is also used for like fake fur, for sweaters, blankets, because it has more like a wool-like like appearance.
I want to link in here because this is key. I can understand the vegan materials because here's a huge topic in pure leather, animal leather, and the alternatives, no? This famous vegan leather, it's literally 100% polyester, and it's even worse for the environment to produce it. I can understand the vegans and people that don't want to wear animal skin. I completely understand and respect it, but it's not more eco-friendly to get that vegan blazer, for example, or fox fur coat or whatever.
Because
my alternative, because I get a lot of questions about this on my Instagram, is like, go secondhand. Go get that leather bag, or that is already, if you don't want to wear the new animal, but for me it's the best material. I love leather in accessories, and I don't mind investing in that. There are also companies that get the leather from the factories that kill the animals for the meat industry. And at least you are getting that waste instead of, because that waste is going to be in landfills and is super contaminating as well. So there are a lot of alternatives to be more environmentally friendly with the leather. But of course, I respect and understand that if you don't want to wear the skin leather, but at least don't get the vegan, because it's horrible. It's like, even worse.
Yes, and many people don't even know it. Like, for example, a few years ago, I tried to find some leather, vegan-friendly options. And there's also like apple leather or like mushroom leather or so many, many different ones. So as you said, they're all made of polyester. They might have like 20% of natural fiber or 10%. And then they even put a plastic on top of it just to make it resistant to get like the leather optics. And I'm like, this is such a scheme. You trying to say I'm vegan, eco-friendly leather, all those things. And I'm like, this is pure plastic. Don't get me wrong. This is the same as if I would wear a plastic bag.
Yeah.
There's no difference between it. And then, like, as you said, it's so contaminating. And then we have to think about, okay, and even like all this vegan leather, like this fake leather, it falls apart after a few years. So people have like all the bags or jackets, and then they come to my store, it's falling apart. I'm like, yeah, then it's fake leather.
Exactly. I used to have this, and in the second or third year already, it was peeling off.
Yes.
It's horrible. You have to throw it away. A whole jacket.
Yes. And the next thing is like because it's not biodegradable and it needs more than 500 years to degrade. You know, this is what happens after that. So you have it for 2, 3 years if you're lucky, then you have to throw it away. And then we need more than 500 years to degrade it. So just have in your mind again, all this fake leather, vegan leather, fake fur, this is all just made out of oil, which is just pure plastic. So just have this in your mind and think about it maybe for the next time. And of course, we have all the discussions between leather, but also leather is 100% just the waste of the food industry.
Mm-hmm.
Just have this in your mind. And as you said, like, okay, don't want to be because of the animals, but also think about if you have a leather jacket, like a real one, you will also have it for the next 10, 20 years, and you can always like resell it. Meanwhile, this fake leather jackets, you just will have it for 2, 3, 4 years maximum,
Not more.
and then not more, and then it will fall apart, rip off, because this is just fake leather, and there's no technology right now where you can reduce this. So I don't have to say more. It's just you that you have it in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to tell you, because now we talked about natural fibers and synthetic fibers, there is now, due to new technologies, the regenerated fibers. So what are these? So we talk here about like viscose, cell, modal. So these are all coming from wood or bamboo, but they're made out of the cellulose. So you put the trees underneath, like some chemicals, materials, machines, and with the cellulose, their fibers are made. So how you
Okay.
can imagine that? It's like still like a machine which is producing the material, but instead of putting oil in, you put in like the cellulose, like from the tree, from the woods, from bamboo. So it's like a mixture between both of them. So you kind of have wood. So like you put it like with chemicals and like with technologies, then you put it into a machine and then the yarn is made.
Um, Based on your expert eye, is
Yeah.
it a good option?
Yes. I really
Okay.
like it. This clothes has like a really nice
Okay.
texture for your skin because it's like soft, it's comfortable, it's breathable, it's also cooling in summer.
Uh-huh.
So this is like very nice. Also Leon cell, it's breathable. It's also like both of them are also biodegradable because the raw material is still from nature. So it like combines, you take the natural fiber and the process how it is made is from synthetic fiber. So it's like a mixture between both of them. But the raw material is nature. And this just makes a huge difference because for your body, it's way nicer. It's breathable and also like lion cell, like tencel, some people
Mm-hmm.
know it as well. It's
Yes.
also used for active wear, and which is nice because even I think it's a nice option if you don't want to go for polyester. So just have this a bit in your mind. And honestly, I really love viscose. So it's like one of my favorite
Yeah.
materials.
I have seen well-known brands using this material, Tencel, and it's good because it's like kind of spreading out, no? Easier to
Yes.
get, I mean, no, because
Yeah.
maybe to find an organic cotton piece, maybe you have to look for a special sustainable brand, but this Tencel, I have seen it in more common brands, as a way to
Yes.
say. So it's easier to get them and not so expensive, like,
Exactly, because it combines two processes, let's say
it's a
like
good
that.
option.
And
Mm-hmm.
yes, it is. And as you said, it's sometimes not as expensive, but what it does to your skin, it's way better than having polyester, polyamide, and all the synthetic fibers on it.
Great.
So I would definitely go for that instead of choosing polyester, polyamide, and all this synthetic fibers. And I think even like for talking about capsule wardrobe, as we have done it before, if you take like dresses made out of viscose or polyester, they look different. If you have a nice wool coat or if you have a polyester coat, it looks different.
Yes,
You
yes.
can tell the quality by it looks. So maybe you go into a store, you don't notice it. But if you would have like the same dress, the same blouse, made out of two different materials, they will look different.
Let me say something. Sometimes I watch on Reels. I'm a social media girl, so we'll always link in with Reels. But no, from fast fashion brands, people
Mm.
recommend like how to look elegant, like which pieces will make you look elegant or clean. And let me tell you something. The only way to look elegant is to wear good materials. natural materials, because the shape will be better, how you see it, the brightness of it, like the textures, you can really tell instead of polyester, acrylic. It's like you tell by the materials. Of course, you have to get like a keen eye to it, like eye to detail. But as soon as you start realizing how to look elegant or to look with money, sometimes I read this, how to look like you are rich with, no. Stick with good materials, because that makes all the difference besides your health and everything we have talked, even how you look.
Yes. And it's like the same, like also what goes along with Capsule wardrobe. Find a shape and a style which matches you and fits you, and combine this with high quality materials. And
yes,
this is something like a nice coat, a nice dress, a nice pullover. You will have it for the next 5, 6, 7, or even longer years. So this is something which just looks nice. If it's like a classic shape, which just matches you and your personality, your body shape, because there's nothing worse than having all these new things. Stick to something, have it in your closet, and you will see the difference.
Yeah, another key consideration when shopping for a capsule wardrobe that we talked in the previous episode is to have in mind the country of origin of that piece, because that will tell you the process, about the production standards and practices. It's not the same to get it from a country from Asia than a country from Europe. The stitches will be different, the shape, that is also key to have in mind when getting your special investment piece or something that you want to wear longer. Also, you have to have this in mind. And also prioritizing brands that are transparent about their manufacturing process. That this will guide you a little bit to get more sustainable pieces, more, because we'll also have good quality, will be better made. When you already know these brands, your life will be a little bit easier, because you don't have to look a lot, do research. You know what I mean?
It will not be tricked by wool blended pullovers, because they're actually made out of wool.
And one last thing I want to say is that to our listeners, don't be afraid to wear your favorite pieces repeatedly. The beauty of a well thought out capsule wardrobe is that each item is chosen for its ability to adapt and transform, not have this hurt of not repeating an outfit. Is good to wear as much as you want what you have and style it differently and play around with it. That is my favorite part of getting dressed, at least.
Yes, it's also nice. It's like you can always combine it differently and you will always look differently. This is just a nice fact on it.
So yeah, if you're ready to start building your own capsule wardrobe, you can check out the guides in the link in the description of the episode. It will be tailored to help you identify the key pieces you need and how to style them. You can always reach out to me. Our social medias links are also in the description of the episode. You can always write to us and ask whatever you want or your thoughts. You can also write to our email for any thoughts you may have or personal experience, office@thefashionsuitepodcast.com. And yeah, let's take the first step towards a more thoughtful, sustainable, and stylish wardrobe together, right, Selina?
Yes. And also we have a new website, which is also called www.thefashionsuitepodcast.com. So if you want to check out the website and see more about us, you can also check it there.
Yeah. And as every episode, you have the link of the fact sheets. If you want to get it, you click there and you will receive it in your email. We will have summarized all the names of the materials, the concept about capsule wardrobe, so you have it easily to double check and get the information.
Wow, guys.
That was all for today. Finally, Selina, we could dive deep into these topics we love. Don't forget to follow the Fashion Suite podcast on Spotify so you never miss an episode. And thank you for your support. And we can't wait to see you in the next episode of the Fashion Suite podcast.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.